Alright, so in this video we're going to walk through all the gear that I used in 2025, what was the best, what took the biggest W's, and then also what took the biggest L's and what really let me down that I was either excited for or expected more from that ultimately just did not carry its weight. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start with the biggest wins, and then we're going to get into the biggest L's. And first on my list for the biggest win was my cook kit. So I've seen no ultralight or backpacking influencers talk about this. This is actually my MYOG container that I use for it. It's insulated and it's made out of Dyneema, super helpful. And then this is the insulation, just 1/8 inch foam pad from Gossamer Gear that I just cut up, and then some italic like metal thing like for post mail or something. But yeah, this is the pot, and I honestly love this thing. It's 400 milliliters. It's 34 grams, which is actually the lightest pot that I've seen, and 400 milliliters is plenty enough. Most of those freezer dried meals are around 250 milliliters or a cup. So this is plenty. And I've also attached a sticker for the temperature reading. And when you are boiling or rehydrating food, you only need it to get to 70 degrees Celsius. So that's why I have this. Saves a lot of fuel, and I also get to eat quick sooner. So yeah, I mean, all in all, this is 34 grams, so good. And I pair it with the Evernew multi-dish. So it is sealed more or less. I wouldn't cold soak just like this, but I can throw this in the fire. I've cooked bread in this. It is really perfect. And then if I do want to cold soak, I can take off one of these silicone bands. I'm not sure what they're called, but I can just put it over top like this. And I would trust this thing to cold soak anything, as well as I can obviously cook on my BRS 3000 stove. So that's the pot. A huge W. This thing no one talks about, like I said, and it is the lightest that you can get. That obviously, like, you can get like a 300 milliliter, but that's kind of pushing it. That's not enough. Like this, at least I can boil water, I can rehydrate a meal, and I can have like some tea all just with one boil. So that is the cook kit. Next up, a little more exciting, the Katabatic Flex 22. This is really warm. It's 695 grams. I got the long version and the regular width. It has, I believe, 900 fill power. I got the hydrophobic down option. It's awesome. Fully goes out. This is the bottom, this is the foot end. And when you close it up, it's like such a good system. I'm not gonna go too in depth about it right now. I'll probably save that for another video, but I love it. It's perfect. I honestly can't complain. It's 22 degrees Fahrenheit, 6 Celsius, -6 Celsius. So I've taken it down to like -3. And if you don't have it closed right, if you don't have the straps attached to your pad, or if your pad is a little colder, you might feel a little cold. But if you actually set it up correct, and you maybe have like a base layer on, or your pad is also warm, then I could easily take it down to -5. Even just wearing like full alpha suit, as well as having a warmer pad, like R value of like 8, I would be comfortable taking it down to probably -10, but I tend to sleep kind of warm, not super warm, but yeah. The next in the sleep system is this Nemo Tensor Elite. I love this thing. This is one of my favorite pieces of gear. It's only 240 grams, which I believe was similar to the Uberlight, but I've taken this out for like 5, 6, or 7 nights, and it has not ran into any issues, no holes, no pops. It stays inflated throughout the whole night. And I think because of this lighter material, it actually is like a little stretchier, and so I find it way more comfy than my Nemo Tensor Extreme Conditions. But the R value is only 2.4, but honestly, like, I don't have enough experience to notice the differences between our value. Plus, I'm not really taking it out in cold weather. So I haven't really been cold on this. Also haven't really been out on enough nights to really give an in-depth review, but so far I love it. And I got this is the regular width, so 20 inches and regular length, because when I did get it, the wide version wasn't available. But if I were to get it again, I'd get the wide version probably. It's just a lot nicer. It's only 50 grams more, so the wide version I believe is around 290 grams. But honestly, I might actually just get that as well and then have friends or my girlfriend use this. So the next section is just miscellaneous stuff. Quite a bit in this section, so I'll try to get through it pretty quick. Number one is the Alpenglow pad inflator. I'm sure you've heard about it. I'm sure you've seen it on Gear Trade or Garage Grown Gear or whatever. It's pretty popular, and it's only like 9 grams, I believe. And so it's way lighter than the pad inflators that the Nemo pads come with, which are typically around 40 to 50 grams. So you save actually quite a bit of weight of doing this. Obviously, it doesn't go and inflate it all the way, so you do need to finish it off just like manually with your breath. But if you're bringing a portable charger or you have an iPhone that can go USB-C to USB-C, then I highly recommend it. It's pretty expensive, it's pretty luxurious, but also like you save weight, so I would say it's worth it. The next thing is the Rory Vaughan A5. The battery isn't great, that's my only knock, but it is quite a bit lighter than a Nightcore and U25, and it is very bright. Like, I wouldn't recommend it if you know you're gonna do night hiking, just because the battery could die pretty fast unless you have a lot of extra portable chargers. But if you might only use it like for 5 minutes a night or 5 minutes a day, then I highly recommend it. You're gonna save some weight, and plus it has everything you need. It has red light, it can go super bright, and it has this clip, so if you're wearing a hat, you can just clip it on. Okay, but now there's a few more things that I'm like really excited about. So if I were to rank the best things of my kit that I'm most happy with, this would be up there in the top 3. This is the Suluk46 saw, the black edition. So light, even when I'm going like on a overnight or a few night trip and my base weight's around 6 or 7 pounds, I'm bringing this. It's so easy, assuming that fire is allowed, but it is so light. I think it's around 140 grams. Let's see, 172 grams. I will probably upgrade this to the 140 or the shorter version by Suluk46. He's also teased on his Instagram that he is making a carbon handle version, which makes it even lighter, maybe even sub 100 grams. I'd believe it. So I might get that. But yeah, I love this thing. So this is another thing that I haven't seen any backpacker influencers talk about, and this is the Flex Tail light repeller. I just broke it. But it has these little things that come with it. It's for obviously mosquito repellent. It only comes out to 42 grams, so it's incredibly light. And plus you don't have to like spray a bunch of bug spray on yourself and then smell like bug spray for the rest of the trip, and then your clothes smell like bug spray. So this is much better than that, although it requires you connect it to a portable charger. So if you're not going to bring one, then maybe bug spray or some bug head net would be better. But yeah, love this thing as well. All right, so speaking of top 3 gear choices, this one is also in the top 3. This is the Gnuhr Alpha Direct in a size 4. Their sizing is a bit weird, and I've actually seen no backpacking influencers talk about this either. So it's 60 GSM. This one comes out to be around 97 grams, and I'm 6'3", like 200 pounds, and I love it. Not everyone will like the fit. It's a little, like, it has a lot of extra fabric. If I wanted to go lighter, I could obviously make it tighter, as well as it's a bit cropped, so it's not for everyone. But I find most Alpha Direct clothes just like, and just most backpacking clothes in general, like, aren't really my style. They're more like there's not really any aesthetic to it. It's all about function. And so the aesthetics kind of, or the form kind of gets forgotten about. But I like this a lot. It's gonna come with me on every single trip. Next on that list is the Rab Mythic G. This is 1,000 fill proof down jacket. It's fully featured. It has a zip, it has 2 pockets, it has a hood. So it's not the most ultralight version. So it comes out at 270 grams, but honestly, I love it. It's also, again, one of my favorite pieces of gear. I wear it in the winter. I wore it in Nepal. I wear it on the trail at night, in the morning. I can't complain. At some point, I will definitely get a lighter down jacket. But for now, in terms of versatility and just like buying things once and using it for all types of conditions, this is my go-to jacket. Like, I'll probably have it for the rest of my life, hope. Okay, now we're into the MYOG section, and most people, if you're watching this to like inform your own purchase decisions, then you might want to skip this. But if you are looking to go the lightest possible way, making your own gear is the best way to go about it. And plus you actually do save money, assuming that you already have a sewing machine. But number 1 on my list is a tarp. So this is a 5 foot by 8 foot tarp. It packs down a lot smaller than this, but I'm storing it. I don't like compressing it because it weakens it and it is more likely to get torn. But this one comes out to 240 grams. It's 5 feet by 8 feet using 0.67 ounce DCF, the second lightest DCF that you can get. So it's a little more durable than 0.5 ounce. 0.5 ounce DCF is the DCF I believe that Z-Packs uses on most of their tents, at least the ones that are focused on being the lightest possible. That one's a little more durable. As you can see, it's camo, so it's good for stealth camping, and it's honestly perfect. It's more spacious than 4 foot by 8 foot, so I like that part about it. And if I needed to, I could fit 2 people under it. Next on my list is a bug bivy, and so I usually pair this with the tarp if I know there's gonna be a lot of bug pressure. This thing comes out to 151 grams. It's made with 0.9 ounce SIL poly. SIL poly is better than SIL nylon. If you're a nerd like I am, then you know this, but the reasoning is that SIL nylon expands with water, and so it's actually heavier when it gets rained on, but SIL poly is absorption of water is much less. On top, it uses argon 49, which is like a downproof kind of 7 denier fabric that a lot of wind pants and wind jackets use, as well as sleeping bags. And then 0.5 ounce nausea mesh, or no-seum mesh. Love it. The only con with this is that I messed up the sizing a bit, so it won't fit a 25-inch long pad, but it will fit the Nemo Tensor Elite, which is perfect because usually if I'm bringing this, I'm going for as light as I can. Okay, now we are in to the biggest L's of my 2025 gear, and it's really unfortunate because you will see that a lot of these I want it to work, and there's certain aspects about it that does work, but ultimately they just let me down. Number 1 is the Hyperlight Gear Porter 70 liter. I brought this to Nepal and I did basically all my treks, a lot of weekend backpacks with it. And the reason it let me down is that 70 liters is just too big, and this one is too heavy for most of my backpacking trips. It's just way overkill. I wouldn't recommend most people to get it. The only reason why I did get it is because I saw it on Facebook Marketplace and it was for like $400 Canadian. And it made sense and I needed it right away. So I got it, and I think it worked fine for Nepal because I could fit all my stuff in it. But if I did have a smaller pack, I'd be forced to bring lighter stuff and pack just more efficiently, which I think is generally the best way to pack. But honestly, I probably won't be using it unless it's for big overseas trips where I'm just one bagging it. Or if I'm going ski touring and we're gonna be staying out in the backcountry with ski gear, Avi gear, a bunch of food, hot tent, etc. So if I'm gonna do those types of ventures, then sure, it's a fine bag, but for most backpacking or through hiking, then it's just way overkill. Plus, it's almost like 2 pounds, I believe, which is just ridiculous. It's probably, yeah, it's a kilogram. It's 1.1 kilograms with the internal frames, which you can take out, but that's just too much for me. And so last summer, to kind of have a better bag in my quiver, I got the Mont Molar Alpine fastpack, and this guy's from Germany. He just makes all his own gear, and he doesn't have an official brand or an official store, but you can message him and just DM him on Instagram to purchase his stuff. Sometimes he has stuff that he's not using, and that was the case with this one. This is using Ultra 100X, so the lightest variant of Challenge Sailcloth Ultra fabric. But I got it for really cheap. It was only like $200 Canadian. But the reason why is because it's delaminating at the back here. So that is really not ideal. Honestly, I'm still happy that I got it, because the main reason I did get this bag was to get pattern pieces for one of his lightest bags that he's ever made. I'll put it in a picture here, but that bag comes out to around 160 grams. So I'm gonna make that soon enough for 2026, and I'll probably make another video for that. But the reason why this was an L is because it's only 24 liters. Maybe it extends, and if you count the external pockets, maybe it's around 27 or 28 liters. But it's honestly just not big enough, because when I am backpacking here in the Canadian Rockies, I need bear bag, bear spray, and then I also like to bring like a saw, which obviously I don't need to, but it just looks ridiculous. It's a little too small for me. I really wanted to like this, and I definitely will keep it, because friends will be able to use it, and I could get away with this if I have a lighter sleeping quilt and if all my other stuff is a bit more dialed. But with a tarp, a DCF tarp, the problem with DCF is that it doesn't compact super small. And so if you're trying to fit your stuff into a bag that's sub 30 liters, you might have a hard time. But yeah, honestly still love it. I bet I can still make it work, and I probably will end up making some more videos on this. And I do love it, but it's just a bit too small, and as you can see from this picture, it looks a bit ridiculous when it's fully packed out. And that was just for a 2-night trip. The next biggest L was this Adotec Grizzly bear bag. It's actually one of the only bags, if not the only bag, that is certified to be Grizzly proof. So it's great for the Canadian Rockies, but my biggest problem with it is that the shape of it, when you have your stuff, like the smell-proof bags do fit in here, but it's so awkward to fit in that you have to put in the bag first, the smell-proof bag, and then you have to stuff stuff in, and then no way you can grab anything at the bottom, and you have to pull everything out, and it takes me probably an extra 5 to 10 minutes just to take stuff out and put stuff in. Whereas if they designed it to be more, less long and more wide, it would have been way more better to fit stuff and take stuff out. So yeah, a bit of an L. I'm still gonna use this. It's still like the lightest option for a bear bag that's also Grizzly proof. But as you can see, there's just that somewhat of a caveat. If I were to buy it again, I'd probably buy the one bigger version to avoid that problem. Okay, last one on the fail list is a MYOG piece of gear, and this is the Airhorn fuel canister. So again, depending on how nerdy you are, you can actually take out the fuel or whatever substance is inside the Airhorn and then replace it with isobutane or propane or whatever these fuel cans use. I don't know. I did it with my dad. And this has about 2 or 3 boils in it. But the reason why I think it's a fail is that realistically, you're probably not going to bring this. It would be better to just bring a proper fuel can. But I think there is potential if you're just doing a one-night trip, if you know you're only gonna boil one dinner. But the problem is that it's really hard to balance, and so you have to makeshift like this elastic band thing with, you have to find out some solution. The way that we figured it out was using stakes and an elastic band and then staking it into the ground with that, and that tends to balance it out. And if you are optimizing for weight, I think it would just be better to use S-bit or alcohol instead of fiddling with this, because at least you'll get more uses for a similar weight or less with this thing. But this was just a fun idea, a fun project. But yeah, I don't think it it takes the L for 2025. Yeah, that is it. This is actually, I think, like my first gear video solo, at least in this setting. So there's going to be a lot more. I have some exciting ideas planned for this year. And if you enjoyed, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, like, do all that stuff.